going on? Okay. Hello. Alright, so it's Tuesday, Vault Day, as everybody knows. Current gear looks a bit like this. Not a lot has changed. Generally, what I'd like to do is kind of move away from the nearly 11,000 haste and add a bit more to the crit strike. At the moment, it's, saying I've got 3,000 extra crit strike at the moment. No. So my actual crit strike rating is only about 6,000, which is really rather low. I'd like to kind of even that out, if not favouring critical strike, especially for dungeons and things like that. The majority of that is coming from all of these rings, but even so, the things that I do absolutely need to upgrade this week, and most of this is going to be like mild recrafting and things that are going to happen this week, is my braces. I'll be recrafting it myself. I've crafted it myself anyway. As well as hopefully a neck upgrade. This has my crit haste stuff, so all of this stuff has got loads and loads of haste on it. The majority of my gems have got haste on it, and primarily because of my raid content, right? So what I can do immediately right now is probably swing it maybe 2,000 points from haste to crit. Will that mean that's going to be a very good swap? At the moment, not really. I'd say it's worth it if I could get like a solid 4,000 to 5,000 stat swing. So let's actually just see what we get in our vault. Likely it's going to be a socket, unless we get... Whoa. Unless we get one of the dungeon trinkets, obviously, right? So I think this is, unfortunately, this week is going to be a dungeon trinket week. I still don't think that I'm going to be able to actually get fully upgraded dungeon trinket, mostly because that may be slightly worse than getting a 636 neck crafted, which again kind of defeats the purpose of like, oh, what is the biggest upgrade right now? Probably is my neck, which is 17 item levels, whereas I'd only be getting 13 item levels on top of the Mark of Cardros that I'd already have. So the best combination upgrade that I think that I can get is probably a crafted neck, 636, and upgrade my Mark of Cardros to 629 because I don't have enough crests for it, right? 629, and then next week, likely going to be upgrading my Everforged Van Braces, fully upgrade, or just pump up Mark of Cardros, the one that I'm getting now, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's what seems like the best option here, Mark of Cardros. Mythic option, yeah. And obviously we'll be getting the free one on top of the... what's my key this week? It's 12, that's not bad. A very easily timeable key. Okay, so we're going to replace the current Mark of Cardros with a new one. Let's go and quickly upgrade that at least one singular time, and I'm probably going to be crafting a neck, which makes sense. So this goes to 629, and then 17 item levels on my neck. It doesn't give me a lot, but it does allow me to swap out a few things, mostly in that I'd be regemming the grand majority of stuff. So that's all content that's going to be coming in the next couple of days. Yeah, so recrafting neck, or fully crafting a new neck with a spark, with crit mastery likely, so I'll be losing a tiny bit of mastery, more crit, fine. recrafting both my weapon and my van braces. On top of that, we're also going to be swapping out a lot of gems, right? So we're going to be going for mastery, big mastery, small crit gems, I think. Yeah, I don't suspect that I'll be doing big crit, small mastery. My mastery is still relatively low. Even in raid content, mastery is relatively low. I don't want haste. Very clear that I don't want haste. However, there's not really anything that I can do at the moment. This goes from crit mastery to crit haste, which obviously we don't want. This goes from haste mastery to verse mastery, and I would say that this is probably a small upgrade, honestly, just because I have so much haste. The amount of verse that I'll be getting is probably not that bad. But it's just going from 2 good stats to like 1 good and 1 1 really good stat and 1 slightly worse. I'd have to sim this in order to be fully certain, and then I've got no other pieces that I would like. I would never do this. What are you doing? You're getting 300 mastery for 300 haste, but then you're losing the avoidance effect on it, right? Definitely not worth it. Okay. Mark of Cardros acquired. Mythic Mark of Cardros acquired. Very, very solid. Okay. Quick update to the last one. Made a few changes already. So this is my Ret set in my standard gear set, which is 6,000. And we have some Giga Haste at the moment. I think our thing is on Haste. Yeah, that's fine. But my Ret M plus set has different stats. We've already gained about 1,500 crit, mainly from this right here. I just went and crafted this myself again. This is going to have crit. It has the crit Dawn Thread, which is probably going to be this in M plus content. What I think, at least, is probably going to be this in M plus content going forward. If you stack 2 of them up to 2 woven Dawn Threads, it should mean that this effect will be currently active throughout the entirety of the thing. I have Leech on it because I play Holy sometimes, and that's where the extra crit is coming from. Likely what's actually going to end up happening in maybe, say, 2 to 3 weeks is that I am going to replace my crafted weapon with a standard 639 weapon, and probably going to have a separate, again, another crafted 636 piece in one of my other slots to have once again, another crit strike one, potentially. Likely, yeah, so, I mean, this is all in the hopes of, like, trying to kind of min-max your gear, right? And as you kind of have seen, we were able to do that fairly regularly. This still needs 45 crests. My neck needs 90 crests. This needs 90 crests, so unfortunately, I am kind of at the cap of crests available for ourselves at the moment. So we get to craft 1 piece of gear, but this is the gear set likely coming with the with the change of our tailspinner pendant, likely going to be a crafted neck going forward. We've kind of jumped ahead now a full day. We've killed Silken Court, and now we've actually gone through, did a couple of dungeons, we've crafted some gear, and so this is currently the final build, I believe, for this week. There's a couple of small things that I can change, but as you guys can probably see, I have spent all of my gilded crests, so there's no upgrades for me there. I have spent all of my, well, I say all of my, but all the relevant Harbinger crests. Again, can't really spend any more or anything there. And that's it, right? So this is what the gear is looking like, and this is what the actual raw stats are looking like, and it's much, much better, I think. Here we are now at nearly 10,000 critical strike. We lost maybe about, 2,500 haste. We lost a tiny bit of mastery, not enough that we need to be worried about it at all. We still have 6,000 versatility. Preferably, what I'd like to do is actually get this versatility to go towards the other 3 stats. And the majority of that 6,000 is actually coming from the BOE ring, which has 4,500 verse. Now, verse isn't a bad stat, but where did that change come from, actually? Let's quickly talk about that. So I crafted this. This is the neck craft that I was talking about earlier in the video. This was the biggest upgrade. I think this was close to about 28,000 DPS upgrade on single target. Whereas if I were to say, I actually got rid of it, but if I were to say upgrade the previous heroic one, which was also crit mastery, and just upgrade my Mark of Cardros all the way, I think that was only about 18,000. So in the end, we netted a little bit more. Also, our item level went up, relatively high, I guess. So next week and the week after are the things that are going to really kind of determine where the grand majority of our upgrades and things are going to go, right? So next week may be a socket week, and if it is a socket week, that socket's likely going to just go on my crafted helmet. At the moment, I am still using this woven dawn thread, but I'll have to swap it out for my other one in my raid content, which has the other embellishment, but that's the easiest one that I can kind of use to swap. Also, if we get a mythic weapon, I might consider that as well, but even so, if I get a mythic weapon, I'd end up having to craft a second embellished item on top of all of the things that we've already done so far. So likely what that's going to be, maybe, is probably going to be this boots for another dawn thread. That way I can have a 639 weapon with the correct enchant, and no embellishment, and we'd be using double woven dawn threads to get more crit. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. Generally, the goal for this week and next week, well, this is it. This is this week. Next week, however, we are trying to kind of upgrade our braces, upgrade our trinket, hopefully get a Skarmorak shard at 639 as well, a mythic track one, and obviously in Mythic Plus, the very last thing maybe would be to get a mythic weapon. So those are the things that kind of are on the track. If I get a mythic weapon, that's probably going to be the most major thing.